I've done it again. I am completely burnt out. It took me about 2.5 months this time, which is a record, because I'm just pushing myself so hard. I took August mostly off. I did a little bit of traveling. I moved in July, so my summer was kind of chill. In September is when I started going hard again, spending aggressively on ads, pushing new projects. And last night I just got hit by what felt like a truck of just, I don't know. Just I found in the past week it's been harder for me to get out of bed in the morning and pull myself up to work. I still do it every day. Um, and I mean, I just, haven't been as excited about work. I've actually been dreading work, and I'm normally very excited. So when I find myself dreading work, it's an issue. And today, so I have a therapist just in general. If you can afford it, I strongly recommend it as an entrepreneur, just because there's so much stress that you go through and everything like that. That's my opinion. It was recommended to me by a past coach of mine. I think it's great. I have friends who do it. You don't have to do it, but anyway. And when I jumped on the call today, he looked at me and he said, like, "Are you okay? You don't look so hot." I kind of laughed because I was like, "Yeah, I'm kind of going through it right now." New project. I've dumped an ungodly amount of money into it. It's not moving just yet. It's only been like 6 weeks. All right, so it's still very, very early days. And now, one thing I want to talk about is this whole thing of burnout. I've noticed a pattern with myself, and I want to kind of share with you what that pattern is, because if you find yourself in the same pattern, there's a solution I'm about to try to, at the very least, extend the amount of time I can work hard before burning out again. Because I know I can recharge and get back after it. But I've historically had a cycle of burning out every 90 days pretty much. And this is kind of like the shortest it's been, 2.5 months sort of thing. Or I mean, it's almost right on schedule too, but in any case, burnout is oftentimes emotional, or it comes from the emotional side of you. I'm more than happy working 65 hours a week, even 70 hours a week, and oftentimes I want to work more than I do, and even more than that. Not that that's an extreme amount of work per week, but anyway. What I've found to be the problem with my burnout is when I look to peers and I compare myself. I have this tendency of attaching self-worth to revenue and outcomes and everything like that, as opposed to just kind of letting go and focusing on the process and gradually improving and everything like that. Because the thing is, there are parts of business where you like them, right? There are parts of business that you don't like as much. And when you have to push through the things you don't like as much, it's a lot harder. And it just takes a lot more work, and it's more of a toll on you, and it's more draining of your energy. And that's a lot of what I've gone through. I mean, starting something completely from scratch. I mean, we did solid revenue in our first month, but I want to be getting this thing to 100, 200, 300, 500K a month as quickly as possible. And I'm focused on those numbers, and I'm not there yet, right? So because it's been 6 weeks, like, what kind of an expectation is that? It's not like I'm going to whip up a 100K a month business overnight. You know what I'm saying? Like, completely from scratch, learning, a new market and everything. Like, it's just a ridiculous expectation. And do I have that expectation that I do it overnight? Not really, but a big part of where this is an issue for me that I've found historically is, again, in comparing myself, looking to people who are adjacent to me, or who are further ahead of me, or looking up to certain people, like the top people in the industry, for where they were at my age. And I'm thinking, well, how do I stack up against them? And it's just this whole thing. And I've just found it's healthy to an extent, but I think I do it an unhealthy amount. I find myself constantly comparing myself to other people, which is just unhealthy. And you'd think that after being in this game for as long as I've been in it, the agency game alone, over 5 years now, and I did some e-commerce stuff before that, you'd think that I'd have it figured out. And now I actually have something that I'm going to share with you in a second that I'm confident will, again, at least give me an extension on my time before I burn out, and help reduce this comparison and help reduce the emotional load, because I'm so attached to my business. I love it. All my businesses that I ever make, like, business is my favorite thing. Like, this is what I know I'm here to do business. It's kind of weird, but I've had that feeling for a long time. I was obsessed since I was a kid, and I really, really care about every part of my business and outcomes and everything. So I also hold myself to an incredibly high standard. I used to have pretty strong perfectionist tendencies, which is a part of overthinking, and overthinking is still something I'm working on fixing. To be transparent, I mean, a lot of people think like, oh, you've done over 150K in a month, like you've probably got it all figured out. It's like, not at all, not at all, man. Like I've some pretty, it's a forever uphill battle the more and more that you want to scale. And so overthinking is something that, again, I'm still facing, or it's a challenge I'm still facing. And one part of overthinking is perfectionism. Another part of it is fear of failure. I've kind of worked through the perfectionism side of it. The fear of failure thing, though, I'm kind of realizing that might be what I'm kind of like wrapping my head around so much, because I found myself just way overthinking the simplest things that I don't need to be overthinking. And like, it's like I want to get the result now. So I'm thinking about every single way that I can move at the maximum possible speed, because I'm comparing myself to all these other people. And like, it's just this unhealthy loop where the reality in a lot of cases is like, let's say you just want to get better at one of your skills, like running ads, for example, right? All you have to do is just keep writing ads and keep testing ads, and you'll figure it out. And it just takes time, and you need to let go and let it take time. That's something I'm still truthfully struggling with, right? Just making sure I can let go, kind of guide the sales, so to say, as opposed to, constantly trying to fight and make things happen faster. I've accepted that. Obviously, I know, being in business for the amount of time I've been in business, you can only move so fast. Like, it's only realistic to move so fast, right? Because you have to develop skills being younger. I'm 25, so I'm still on the younger side for sure. So there's still a lot of skill development to be done and everything like that. But at the same time, even though I know that, I still often find myself being pressed about trying to move as fast as possible and everything there. So one of the things that I'm doing, I made another video called something along the lines of reprogramming your brain or reprogramming your mind for SMMA success, or something like that, like to grow your agency or to scale in business. And one of the things I talked about in that video was, the main thing was writing to reprogram your brain and install new ways of thinking. So I'm looking at the fear of failure. I talked to ChatGPT like crazy about what's going on in my mind and how to work on my mindset issues, catch mindset issues, etc. And I come up with things to write, and I write them on a page. I write 8 to 16 different quote ways of thinking, or new ways of thinking, on a page per day. Eight per page per day. Sometimes I'll do 16 on 2 pages per day. It takes me like 30 minutes to an hour. It might sound ridiculous, but I've personally had a number of mindset problems. A lot of people don't. Some people don't. Most people have some degree of mindset issues, especially if you weren't raised by an entrepreneur or something like that. So that's one thing I'm working on right now. I'm gonna do some writing to rewire the whole fear of failure side of things and reduce the overthinking, but then also let go of the comparing myself and everything like that. Because the thing is, we're in this industry where like there are kids who are like 20, 18 years old doing hundreds of thousands of dollars per month in revenue, right? And when you're online, you see, it looks like there are so many people doing that. But the reality is, like, there are very, very, very few people actually hitting numbers like that, just in general. So it's, you hold yourself to this. It's not an impossible standard because it's realistic to get there, right? But at the same time, like, it applies this really weird pressure to you that can be unhealthy if it's not managed properly. So what I'm going to do is American Thanksgiving, I'm going to take 4 days off. Even though I'm in Canada, I'm going to take Thursday, Friday off, because for calls, people are generally going to be spending time with family or whatever else. I'm going to take Thursday, Friday off, Saturday, Sunday, just basically do nothing to give myself some time to recoup, recharge, and get back at it without having to turn ads off and take like 9 days off or something like that, a full week and 2 weekends. So that's what I'm going to do there. I always have a plan, right? You always got to have a plan. So I'm going to do the writing. I'm going to take some time off at the end of the month. Nothing crazy, and just get back after it, because I've still made some huge leaps and bounds. And when you get to these points, right, like it's really healthy to just look at, well, what are the good things? What's the progress you've made up until this point? Like, I've made so many huge mindset revelations just in the last 2.5 months, let alone this year. And I've made some incredible progress in business in general. And so, sometimes you just got to appreciate those things, right? And not be so insanely hard on yourself. And I'm not too hard on myself. I have high expectations, but I don't get down on myself or anything like that. Just sometimes I need to sit back and go, wait a minute, I've made some huge progress here, like seriously huge progress. And it's just a matter of time. And I just got to kind of make sure I let go and, let the process work itself out, which I've been doing a better job of than I used to, a much better job. And that's about it, so I guess what I'm trying to say is no matter where you're at, it doesn't stop. It's always going to be an uphill battle. There's always going to be stress. There are always going to be challenges. Are you always going to be not moving as fast as you want? Not necessarily. Can you always move faster? 100%. Is it harder to move faster at certain stages of business than others for different types of people? Yes. So that being said, I'm just trying to not take it too seriously. Even just talking this through on video has kind of calmed me down and brought my mood back up. Because I know that I'm never quitting. I know I'm very, very hardcore about what I do. I know I'm, very successful in the space that I'm in. And I'm just going to keep moving forward. So you can't let these things get you down, for a long period of time. It's okay if you feel bad for a little bit and want to take a little bit of an extra break or something like that. That's healthy. But yeah, I don't really see too many people talking about this kind of stuff, so I figured I'd share my experience here. That is me with burnout. In the meantime, I'm still going to be uploading. And yeah, so if you do want to work with me closer, whether that's to build a low ticket call funnel, sell low ticket products with ads, and upsell your main agency services with just a higher close rate, show rate, etc., liquidate your ad budget, or if you're even on the newer side and you want to join my private scaling group and get up to $5, $10, $15, $20,000 a month kind of thing, you can book a call with me in the description. Otherwise, click whatever's popping up on screen here, and I will see you there.